Hello and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering EDH deck tech idea. Today we are taking a look at Celes, Rune Knight. She's a 4 mana 4/4 and when she enters, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. This powerful ETB trigger is extremely strong if she is in your command zone, simply because that trigger already nets you a card, and it allows you to set up a few very powerful combos and go through your deck. What makes her a really powerful combo commander is her second triggered ability, because whenever one or more other creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. This triggered ability enables a bunch of persist combos, and as we are in Mardu colors, she is the perfect fit for this line. Which means that this Mardu commander tries to go through your deck extremely quickly and get all of your combo pieces together to combo off with a persist combo. For those persist combos we need a sacrifice outlet, which is why we play a few of the following cards in the early game. Like Carrion Feeder, a 1 mana 1/1, it can't block and you can sacrifice a creature at instant speed to put a +1/+1 counter on Carrion Feeder. If we don't have a ping damage outlet on the battlefield, we can also mill our opponents out with Altar of Dementia, a 2 mana artifact, and you can sacrifice a creature so target player puts a number of cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power from the top of their library into their graveyard. A sacrifice outlet and also our win con in one card can be Goblin Bombardment, a 2 mana enchantment, and you can sacrifice a creature so Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to any target. A sacrifice outlet that works with any drain creature is Rowan Soul Trader, a 3 mana 3/3, and you can pay 1 life and sacrifice another creature to create a treasure token. We also play with Sarah Seer, a 1 mana 1/1, and you can sacrifice a creature to scry 1. Just as Woe Strider, a 3 mana 3/2, and when this creature enters, create a 0/1 white gold creature token. You can sacrifice a creature to scry 1, and you can also cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost of 5 mana and exiling 4 other cards. And this creature escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And now let's talk about a few persist creatures that we play in this deck. For example, Puppeteer Click, probably the strongest persist creature that we have, because for 5 mana you get a 3/2 with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains haste, and at the beginning of your next end step, exile it. And of course, this creature has persist. Just as Kifkin Spellduster, a 5 mana 2/3 with flying, and for 2 mana and sacrificing it, we can destroy target enchantment. And it also has persist. We play Lingering Tormentor, a 4 mana 2/2 with fear and persist. When it comes to persist combos, we of course have to play Putrid Goblin, a 2 mana 2/2 with persist. We play Obstinate Gargoyle, a 3 mana 2/2, and it has flying as long as it's modified, and it has persist. Another powerful card that is known in a lot of persist combos is Murderous Redcap, a 4 mana 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. For those of you who aren't familiar with the persist combo line, if a creature dies that has persist and no -1/-1 counter on it, it re-enters with a -1/-1 counter. In the case of Murderous Redcap, it will be a 1/1 because it has a -1 counter on it. Afterwards, it will trigger Celes because it re-entered from your graveyard to put another +1/+1 counter on it. The way how -1 counters and +1 counters work is that they negate each other out, which means that after those triggers resolved, Murderous Redcap will be a 2/2 with no counters on it. Then you can sacrifice it into a sacrifice outlet and repeat this loop. And now let's talk about a few drain or also ping outlets that we play in this deck. For example, Elas Ilkor, Sadistic Pilgrim, a 2 mana 2/2 with Death Touch, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Furthermore, whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. We play Impact Tremors, a 2 mana enchantment, and whenever a creature you control enters, this enchantment deals 1 damage to each opponent. You can also play Blood Artist, a 2 mana 0/1, and when this or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We play War Leader's Call, a 3 mana enchantment, and creatures you control get +1/+1. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, War Leader's Call deals 1 damage to each opponent. Another card that works great with counters is All Will Be One, a 5 mana enchantment, and whenever you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, All Will Be One deals that much damage to target opponent, creature an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. And another card that we play is Witty Roastmaster, a 3 mana 3/2 with Alliance, so whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Witty Roastmaster deals 1 damage to each opponent. Most likely you will only see Celes as a Persist combo deck, and with my Win More section I want to give you a few ideas if you want to go for an alternative build with this commander. Celes can also be built around a few of my favorite cards, for example Flage, Titan of Fire's Fury, a 3 mana 6/6, and when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. You can escape this card from your graveyard for 4 mana and exiling 5 other cards from your graveyard. Celes is perfect to fill up your graveyard and maybe also throw Flage into your graveyard. And if you know Flage from a 1v1 format, this card can definitely carry a game, which makes it a great build around in this deck. Alternatively, you can also play Proxy, Titan of Death's Hunger, a 2 mana 6/6, and when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. You can also escape this card from your graveyard for 4 mana and exiling 5 other cards from your graveyard. These cards were known win cons in Modern, and due to the fact that Celes is a Mardu commander, you can play these cards in this deck and can create a great build around these cards. Alright guys, these were a few cards that I would play in Celes. Rune Knight. Let me know which cards you would add to the deck, which legendary creature I shall feature next. Make sure to check out my full deck list in the notes below, and then I would say see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.